Darkest greetings, horror, sci-fi, and Oscar fans. By the time you're watching this, we're here at the big day. It is Oscar Sunday. Probably an Oscar that I'm looking forward to. I haven't been looking forward to the Oscars in the last couple of years.
Long while.
Yeah, I think the last one I really was looking forward to was like Parasite, when Parasite won.
Parasite was that was a really good year. But and honestly, I didn't think that Parasite would win, so I was just kind of like, eh.
I thought it was 50-50.
I was like, oh, I should have watched.
I thought it was a close 50-50 between that and 1917, because that was like more traditional.
17 was the one I had predicted would win. And I was so happy when it didn't. Because I thought 1917 was fine. I thought it was a well-made.
I haven't seen it yet. I have it, but I need to watch it.
It's good. It's really well made. There's some really good cinematography in it. Performances are all solid, but like something about it just didn't quite resonate as well as I wanted it to, and it should have. Like it really
well, that's the thing about it. It's like I felt like I think everybody and their mother knew that Parasite was going to win Best Foreign.
Yeah. It
was probably going to win Best Original Screenplay.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I forget what was up that year for.
I think it was 1917 too, but I think it was good. I think it was going to lean more Parasite. I felt like with screenplay.
But even that, like, wasn't Once Upon a Time in Hollywood up that year as well?
Oh yeah, but Tarantino already got his reward with Pulp Fiction, and
he got his reward with Pulp Fiction, and he won for Django. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's. And honestly, I kind of assumed that he would probably get it. That was the only, like, that one and maybe Brad Pitt were the only ones they were going to get. And it turned out they really only got the Brad Pitt one, I guess.
Yeah. But I remember when they announced Bong Joon-ho for Best Director, I'm like, oh shit. It actually might win.
It really
usually whoever wins Best Director usually win, well, not all the time, but sometimes, a lot of times, will win Best Picture. So
that's true. They've gotten to a recent trend where they'll split the award, where they'll give like Best Director to like something that's more technically or like creatively out there, and then they'll give Best Picture to like something more safe, sort of like what they did with like Green Book or like Coda or something like that.
I thought Fairley. Yeah, I thought he won for direct.
Who won that year for Green Book? I can't remember now.
We'll look it up. We gotta kind of do it. We just gotta be a quick one, because it's like we're filming this like super late at night, because I know you're kind of down doing basketball.
Oh yeah, no, it's been a fucking nightmare too.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. But anyway, let's get through some housekeeping real quick before we get because we're actually doing our top five horror performances that should have been nominated for Oscars, and then we're actually doing our Oscar predictions for this year. But to get to the quick housekeeping stuff, the video after this, because of scheduling, will not be MCU Look Back episode 3. It's actually going to be the Cloverfield 50th anniversary review for the next episode.
15th, right? Not 50th?
15th. They said 50th?
I don't know. It's fine. I heard 50th, but maybe it was 15th.
Yeah, 15th.
15th, yes.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I just bought the 4K for that.
Oh, nice. I have not watched Cloverfield since I saw it in theaters in 2008.
Yeah. Honestly, I like 10 Cloverfield Lane a little bit more, because that's more kind of my sensibility. And I love alien movies. I'm just not a big found footage kind of guy.
I remember being very disappointed when I walked out of Cloverfield, but I think I was expecting something that I didn't get. I'm interested to go back and revisit it, because I haven't watched it in probably 15 years.
Honestly, if Super 8 didn't feel so much like a Spielberg movie, which, I have a hard on for Spielberg.
That's
Um,
fair. Spielberg's
um,
great. Spielberg's
um,
great.
honestly, like I would probably say Cloverfield I like more, but anyways,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's what's going on. Um, yeah, but in the topic of like horror, and the Oscars, your personal opinion, why doesn't the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science, why don't they like the horror genre?
Well, first off, I'll start out with just that the Academy rarely gets it right. Sometimes
Right.
they do, sometimes they don't. But also too, it's also an award, so basically it's only voted on by people who are actually making these things.
Mhm.
And the majority of the Oscar, or it used to be, I don't know what it is now, but the percentages were that most of it was made up by actors. And so I assume a lot of, for a long while, the stigma was that if you're doing horror movies, you were either starting out or you were slumming it. And so I assume that's probably why a lot of where a lot of the stigma comes from. I can't, this is all speculation. um
Yeah, and it does seem like to a lot of outsiders who don't like horror
mhm.
typically, kind of sees it as like a cheap genre or like a kind of cheesy genre or for whatever reason, especially if you got shit like Friday the 13th and like
Oh,
all all the
right.
50s,
There's
sci-fi
some
movies.
there's some kind of trash out there, but like, some of it,
Sharknado.
I mean, some of it has to do just with just it being a genre outside of drama. Like,
Right.
movies were built out of theater, so like a movie is sort of like taking all the things that were great about like writing and theater and then sound and all this stuff and then mashing them all into one. So like they're really building out of this like tradition that drama is like king and like comedy is like a
Mhm.
farce and it's looked down upon. But really anything other than drama like doesn't get a lot of nominations for the most part. Like they're very rarely that even comedies really get nominated or
Yeah,
science fiction or fantasy for that
and one
matter.
thing I've noticed, and this is probably part of the reason why I like the Oscars and part of the reasons why I don't really like them. I feel like a lot of politics and a lot of
Oh,
campaigning kind of goes into it. And a
100%. And
lot, and a lot, I think a lot of the wins and nominations are based off of how hard they can campaign, whether versus whether you did good in whatever particular category.
sure.
And I think part of that is kind of fun to kind of strategize a bit with the campaigning and kind of seeing how certain people campaign. Um, but then it's fair for people that actually are putting the effort into it and not
Sure.
getting um what they deserve
Oh,
or
for
the
sure.
recognition.
There's always like a surprise nom that comes out of left field every year. And this year was like
I think Anna de Armas was a
Andrea,
good one.
which one?
I think for me, Anna de Armas for Blonde, that was pretty.
Well, I mean, I think that one had got nominated for a few awards. It was really like Andrea Risebon's performance in like To Leslie that
Did
came
you
out of
see
left
that?
field this year. I haven't seen it.
She's really good. It's
I've heard good things. I've always loved her in other things.
yeah, it's like Meryl Streep level
Yeah,
of like good.
she's really good, and like it just kind of came out of left field in the last little bit because she really didn't qualify or didn't get nominated for any like the precursor awards like
Mm.
SAG or like BAFTAs or any of that sort of stuff. So it really came out of left field, and people were upset about it for a long while. They did a whole investigation about it, whether she like violated stuff, like violated campaigning
Mm.
rules and whatnot. And ultimately, I find out that she didn't. But like, I don't know. With the ramifications of this, maybe they change some of these rules going forward. So I don't know.
Yeah. But
But
now I thought she was really good. Honestly, I think I would have gone and I would have pulled Anna de Armas out.
mm,
I hope I'm saying her name right.
so I think you're saying it right.
Yeah. And I haven't seen Woman King or Teal yet, but I would
Mm.
have put one of them in there.
I actually thought one of them would make it in over
Yeah.
her. But again, it's all like a numbers system. It's all like
Well, I
like
thought Annie. because like I said, I saw To Leslie, so I
Yeah.
thought she definitely deserved to be in there because she was very good, and the movie
And
was very good too. Um, and I think a lot of like the people, like the acting members of the Academy even
yeah.
said like, no, this was like movies that I love from like the 70s and the 80s.
Hmm. Okay. I know I dig the poster art for it, so I wanted to watch it for a while because I know it's been out. It's been out on like streaming for a minute now, but I just
Mm.
haven't never got around to watch it. I'm
Yeah,
behind.
definitely. Well, like I said, we're filming this a few days before the actual ceremony, so definitely try to make a point to see it. It's really good.
Okay.
So one point I do want to make about this whole topic about why the Academy does not like horror.
Hmm.
And this is not my idea. This is another YouTuber's idea. Um, um, there's this guy named Dave McCrae. He's a filmmaker out in Canada. Really
Hmm.
cool guy. Talks a lot about horror movies. Has a lot of energy. Which is why I like him a lot. And he
Sure.
basically, the day that the nominations were announced, made a video basically saying, "Well, I think the reason why the Academy doesn't, or a lot of horror stuff doesn't get nominated is because you take a like this year, for instance, you take like a company like A24 who did everything everywhere all at once, and then
Hmm.
um Pearl,
Hmm.
maybe they want to push the everything everywhere because that's more likely
Sure.
that's more of a movie that the Academy likes compared to Pearl,
Sure.
which is
And
why
it's yeah.
Mia Goth didn't get nominated.
And it's like, they only have probably smaller company. They don't not like Warner Brothers or any other company, any other big like studio that can push like a bunch of money into a campaign or
Mm,
something like that. So, yeah, I mean that's a valid point.
yeah, but and now I'll leave a link to that video down in the description. That was a real interesting point. So anyways, let's get to the top five horror performances that should have been nominated for Oscars.
Okay.
So
Um,
before we go, I just want to say one thing real quick.
sure.
A lot of the newer ones that
Mm,
people keep like saying, "Oh, this person should have been nominated." So, for example, I didn't put William Dafoe in here for Lighthouse. I didn't put
mm,
Lapita for Us. I didn't put Tony Collette for Hereditary, and I
I
didn't
didn't
put
either.
Mia Goth for Pearl because I just feel like they're too recent in our
Same.
subconscious. And it's just especially the Mia Goth thing, like that's
Sure.
just been kind of talked about a little bit too much, I feel like.
No, and I agree. I tried to go with performances out of the box that I hadn't
Mm,
seen on a lot of lists before, or really not a lot of lists, but just weren't the more recent ones like you were talking about.
right.
So
Um,
there, I have a huge honorable mention list. I have a
okay.
giant honorable mention list. So it was really hard to get it down to five, but
Yeah, I do have one recent one.
Mhm.
But if some of the horror movies that I really enjoy,
Mhm.
this is gonna be it's gonna be so obvious for
Okay,
you.
okay,
But so you're my guest. I'll let you go first, man. What's your number
okay.
five?
Oh, you put them in number? I didn't put them in any number
Okay,
order.
what's
I'll just
yeah,
put out the list.
whatever order you want to do it in.
Okay, so first off, I want to set up like one little ground rule before I start. I kept like horror genre very loose, if that makes sense.
Okay,
It's any sort of thing that has probably a tinge of horror that would often be overlooked by the Academy. I sort of like went with
right.
that. So my first one up is for a movie that I really love that I hated when I first watched it. That it's just gotten better and better for me the years after I've watched it. And she has gone on to do a lot of wonderful things afterwards that people have recognized. But this was really like the first movie that like kind of put her on the map. And it's Naomi Watts for Mulholland Drive, which is a
Ah,
movie that
nice.
um, uh, to me gets better and better every year for performance and like thematics and she's really good in it. In particular, there's a scene where they earlier in the movie that they're rehearsing the scene that she's gonna go audition for, and like it's really like corny, like hack and sack sort of like dialogue where like she's like saying it and like this, and then like they perform the scene and it gets really like intimate, and like it's just
Mhm.
like the dichotomy between those two things is like really good. I don't know. I love her performance in it, and it's worth watching. It's long. It's like 2.5 hours, but it's
Right.
worth your time.
Yeah, I need to check out some David Lynch movie because I know you're a big fan of him. Like I think like I have a fetish for Spielberg. You have a fetish for Lynch.
That's true. That's true. Also, too, I will say too before we get in too much further, as I tried to pick some stuff from like multiple decades. So like multiple, all of mine kind of like hit through the past like 50 years.
Yeah, yeah, mine's kind of like that too. For my number five, here's my hint, or here's my little thing when I say I have to return some videotapes. So Kristen Bale, American Psycho. I mean, we all know that Kristen Bale's a fucking phenomenal actor. Probably one of the best in the business.
Academy Award-winning actor.
Oh yeah, yeah, that fighter.
Yeah.
But to me, he's up there with like De Niro, Brando, Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Um, and that I just love how like you're really convinced by him being like this really kind of sketchy, scummy, kind of like 80s stockbroker kind of not stockbroker, but like a business character.
Sure. No, yeah.
Or businessman kind of character. But like he flips it.
Mm-hmm.
So like one moment he'll be like real mean and he'll tell like the Asian lady at the laundromat and if you don't shut the fuck up, I will kill you. And then somebody that he knows comes into the laundromat. It's like, oh hi.
Hello. Yeah. So it's a wonderful
Yeah.
performance.
And another
Multi-layered.
part that I recognized the last time I watched it because I watched this last year in October.
Mm-hmm.
The part when they're having dinner and he's saying that we need to help out like third world countries and whatnot. Like
Mm-hmm.
the character, not the actor, the
Mm-hmm.
character says that like he rehearsed it and he does not care.
Mm-hmm.
Which
100%.
it sounds like something a big company would do.
Yeah, right. Right. He's fully bought into his ideology as a character. It's great. It's a wonderful performance. And also I would say don't sleep on that Willem Dafoe performance in that movie too.
Oh yeah,
Really
yeah,
good.
I freaking love William Dafoe. Oh, speaking of Dafoe, did you see that new trailer for
Inside
Yeah,
Inside looks amazing.
that's gonna be a crazy movie.
And
He
it's like
that's
it's
gonna be
like
one where he's gonna be robbed again. He's gonna be
yeah,
robbed again. I guarantee
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And it's such a simple premise, such a like
Hmm.
simple setup that could be done really cheaply that looks great. It looks amazing.
Dude, and that dude's like 67, and like
You
he's
that
pretty
old?
good.
Looking good. Good for you,
So,
Willem.
yeah, dude, you're taking care of yourself, Mr. Dafoe. Why, thank you, Daryl. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's my terrible Willem Dafoe impression. Anyways, what's your fourth one?
Number four is a movie that I don't think gets a lot of credit in the director's like hierarchy of films. And I went back and forth between like two different films of his.
Mhm.
The director's Cronenberg, so it's David Cronenberg. But I went back and forth between two different performances, and one of them was Christopher Walken in Dead Zone, which is really good.
It's gonna break.
It's really good. He's really good in Dead Zone. But ultimately, I went to with one that was a little more subtle and just becomes more and more out there and unhinged as the movie goes along. And really, like this actor was like honored like the next year, which I feel like the Academy tends to do that a lot with movies that are like too weird, but they're like really good, and they'll be like,
Mhm.
oh. It's sort of like Dennis Hopper with Hoosiers and like Blue Velvet. Like they came out the same year and they like nominated him for like Hoosiers versus Blue Velvet because Blue
Yeah.
Velvet is too weird for the Academy. So Jeremy Irons was really, really good in Dead Ringers, where he plays not one, but two people, two identical twins who are like gynecologists, and they are uber creepy. And like the
Right.
technical ability that they can pull off where he is like simultaneously playing two different characters in the same scene and performing off of himself. Man, so good. He won for Reversal of Fortune like the following year, like 2 years later in like 1990. But for my money, like he never gets any better than Dead Ringers.
Yeah. Cronenberg's another guy I need to watch more of. I just seen The Fly and Dead Zone.
Oh man, you should watch Videodrone. Dead Ringers is really good. Mostly anything from like late 70s to early 90s is really good. And there's some good stuff in like the early 2000s um that's a little different from what he normally would. Actually, that's probably like a good way to get in. So if you like Viggo Mortensen, you should check out History of Violence.
Oh, really? We need to do a Cronenberg video. Like we did
100%.
with Del Toro or Brad Bird.
Love to.
So my number four would be the guy I'm wearing on my shirt.
Mm,
Good, fire bad. Or Karloff, Bride of Frankenstein. I think it's a better performance,
yeah.
a more compelling performance than Frankenstein.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Like it's more subtle, more nuanced.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you really feel bad for this character if you didn't before in the first one.
Yeah.
Mainly the blind man scene. I think that scene is real beautiful. And I think it's interesting. And the fine folks at the Fear of God podcast brought this up when they reviewed Bride of Frankenstein. Is they said it was interesting that the blind man was praying to God for him to find him or for him to bring him a friend
Hmm.
because he's actually is being a true Christian by serving or being kind to this monstrous character, like much like what Jesus would have done.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah, it was
I
just
mean, but it also, I think that hinges on him not being able to like see him too. So he's more accepting of it. He's more giving because he's not looking. He's not judging a book by its cover.
yeah, they're
He's
both outcasts.
judging it by its content, versus
Yeah,
its exterior.
I just gotta say one thing here before we move on.
Mm.
I was gonna make a special. If you don't get that, in the Mel Brooks parody of the
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein movies, Young Frankenstein, Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman's so good in that.
You want to know a fun fact about that, real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So that line was actually improv, like on,
Oh, was it?
yeah, on the in that moment. Or Hackman probably thought about it before he said it,
Weird.
but nobody else knew it. So like it actually cracked the whole crew up when he said that
Nice.
line, when he said the I was gonna make espresso line, and then that's why they did the fade. Because
Oh, really?
yeah, because they immediately were laughing right after that.
Nice, nice. I didn't know that. That's great.
You
I
know,
love Gene Hackman. And honestly, it's a little hard to go back and really appreciate Bride of Frankenstein because that scene, whenever I watch it, I just immediately think of the Gene Hackman one because I've seen it so many
I
times.
didn't even know that. I didn't even know that was Gene Hackman when I first watched that
Oh
movie.
yeah. No, he's like covered in like that makeup and like he's bald and he's got like a beard.
Okay, so what's your number three or your third one?
Third one, this is actually my most recent one.
Okay.
And so this is instead of like I picked one supporting, this would be a supporting role. And so most of the other ones are leads or yeah, I guess the rest of them are leads. But this one came out pretty recently, came out in the past 10 years. I can't remember the exact date. I think it was like 2015, 2016. And it's really like a low-key terrifying performance in sort of like a horror thriller sort of thing. But it's Patrick Stewart in the movie Green Room. Have you ever
Ooh.
seen Green Room?
Yeah, I've seen I've seen like me like 75% of it.
Yeah, he is like low key terrifying in it because he's
Yeah.
so calm and collective, and he's playing such just a terrible fucking human being. That it's amazing. It's really good. I don't know
What do
why
we
he
keep
wasn't.
talking about, Eric? It's like Nazis are like the most.
Yeah, yeah. They're the easiest villains to portray, but he gives it such like nuance in like thought and progression. And so like he's a terrible person, but the idea that his wheels are always moving in his head, and so he's always trying to be one step away. It's like the
Mhm.
scene at the end of there's a scene at the end of the movie. I won't spoil it or anything, but he does something completely out of character to throw someone off, and it's great. It's
Right.
great. So good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one. That's a good one. He's definitely pretty good at really good in that
Good.
movie. Yeah.
And that's why I say this is like a loose horror, like horror
Mhm.
thriller genre mix.
Yeah. I think it's horror thriller. I think thriller is its own horror subgenre. I even have like a horror thriller section on my horror self.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's like the people who argue whether Silence of the Lambs is a thriller or is it a horror movie.
Mm,
I don't know. There's no real. I mean, it's all personal opinion what it comes down to, but
yeah,
like, I think it's at least part of the horror subgenre.
yeah. So my next one is from another Cronenberg movie.
Oh,
It's gonna be a little be afraid, be very afraid. Jeff Goldblum from The Fly,
man.
because this, how he's like this nerdy scientist at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, and then like when he gets fused with the fly, the way that he just physically like kind of becomes that character. It's really quite extraordinary.
Oh yeah, and he's still able to like infuse humor into it, like the
Mm,
donut scene. Like it's still there's still like moments of like
mm.
discovery and shock and like humor, which really like makes it more palatable. It's great. It's such an amazing performance and like
Yeah,
a
and
great.
I liked how they played off the old cliche that like scientist characters like never changes their clothes. I always like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like how they play off of
He's
that kind of cliche. And I mean, you gotta love a character that's obsessed with cheeseburgers, and that's all he eats is cheeseburgers.
yeah, yeah, and he becomes a fly.
Yeah,
So who loves cheeseburgers more than flies?
yeah. So, anyways, what's your second one?
Number two, which these are in no particular order. I went back and forth for a long while on this. Not for the movie, but for the performance I wanted to highlight. Because there's two really great performances in this movie. And the movie gets lauded a lot, as being like sort of like a low key classic, in like the 70s. And I ultimately went with the one I think that doesn't get enough due. And it's a Nicholas Roeg movie from like 1970, 1970 something. But it's called Don't Look Now. It stars Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie. And it is about a couple whose child dies tragically in a drowning, and they're grieving in like Italy while he is like
I think I've heard
refurbishing
of it.
marriage. It's a great movie. And Donald Sutherland usually gets all the praise for it because
Mm,
he is, I guess, like the inciting incident or the his storyline carries you through the entire thing, and
yeah.
Julie Christie kind of disappears like somewhere near the third end of it.
Mm,
But like she's so good in it. Like they're both really good in it. I would probably say this is a hybrid Julie Christie, Donald Sutherland vote for this one, but they both probably should have been nominated because it
right.
was both of them are like walking this like high wire act of like hysteria, and like she is like starting to like she's convinced by the psychic that like her daughter's communicating with her, and he's trying to be the pragmatist, and it's like their dichotomy between them is really really good. It's
Right. Yeah. Well, I almost guarantee you that Robin from Stranger Things likes that movie because Julie Christie's in it.
oh yeah, and
You know,
she's great.
cause remember in season 4,
Mhm.
that was the movie that she suggested Steve used to get girls. It's
She
even
suggested "Don't Look Now." That's what she suggested.
no, it wasn't that movie. It was Doctor Ferraro. It's even really
Dr. Zhivago. Yeah,
Christy
yeah,
was like the most beautiful
yeah,
creature.
yeah. I can't imagine anybody would suggest "Don't Look Now" to like pick up chicks. It's got the wildest ending in
Yeah, well,
maybe.
Doctor Ferraro's kind of like a love story kind of thing, right?
Oh no, Doctor Zhivago is like a 3 hour love like romance,
Yeah.
which is still great. It's a great movie. It's one of David
So it's
Lean.
basically the England patient of his day.
Basically, I mean, it's not as good as Lawrence of Arabia, which is the
Mm.
other David Lean epic.
But anyways, my number two would be Baba Duke. 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 I mean, you knew it was coming. Elsie Davis. My girl Elsie
Yeah.
Davis. Essie Davis? It's
I think
Essie
it's
Davis.
Essie. I think it's Essie. I
Yeah,
think.
like, I
I don't
mean,
know. Maybe butchering it.
just for the obvious reasons. Like, I mean, she's playing a woman who's traumatized by her husband's death, and then just all the layers, she has to play. She has to play like depressed and sad, and masking her pain with happiness, and then like her being scary and violent towards Sam.
Hmm. No, it's a wonderful like multi-layer performance, and she really does ride an arc where it is. She starts out like the sympathetic hero, and then becomes the villain before the end, and it's wonderful.
Well, I almost even no, I feel bad for her throughout the whole movie, even when she's going kind of crazy, because I know.
I don't know. I mean, to me,
Okay,
at a certain point, like it shifts from her being the hero to like the son becoming the hero.
right, but I'm just saying because like the grief
Oh,
with
sure.
Babadook represents kind of takes over her. So like
But she's trying to kill the kid. Trying to
yeah,
kill her son. No, like I
yeah,
don't know.
I guess you're right. I don't
But I
know.
mean, no. I mean, you're right in the sense that it is still you understand where she's coming from at that
Mm,
point. If the movie is a metaphor and it's allegorical and it's not like she's possessed, but she's just overcome with grief, you will know where she's like coming from, which makes it
right.
even more scary.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, what is your last one?
My last one or my top one, actually, I probably put this top one. Is a movie that got booed at Cannes when it came out. Most people hate it in comparison to the original product. It's a prequel, I guess, of sorts. But it's a movie that has really gotten really good favor in the past decade or so. And to good measure, like the movie itself is fine. It's got some really great moments. There's some like stuff in it that's great, but like the performance of Cheryl Lee in Fire Walk with Me, like Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, mm, she's really good. And this is really like her last like big like starring role. Because after that, like I think she's been a working actor for a long time, but she never really had like her big break. And I think probably because this movie didn't do as well as they thought it would. But she's amazing. She's amazing. Like it runs the gamut of like from hysteria to like melancholy to forlorn love to like broad comedy. Like it's it's a multifaceted performance that is unlike anything I've ever seen in like a modern movie. She's really good in it. And if you don't like Twin Peaks, cool, that's fine. She's great in it. I think maybe we can all agree on that. I don't know.
Yeah. So do you want to do your honorable mentions real quick before I get to my number one?
I can, yeah, if you want me to. There's a long list. It's a long list, so I can go through them real quick. So starting at the top, we got Dennis Hopper, Blue Velvet, Florence Pugh, Midsummer,
Yeah, not surprised.
Tony, right, Tony Collette, Hereditary, Kiki Palmer, nope,
Mm-hmm.
Essie Davis, The Babadook, Lupita,
This isn't Peter. We know what you're
what's
talking.
Lupita, Us, Mordford Clark, Saint Maud, which is another more recent one.
I haven't
Mia
seen that
Goth,
one yet.
yeah, Mia Goth, Infinity Pool, which if you like Mia Goth, you should check
Ooh.
out Infinity Pool. She's
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
Cronenberg's son, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Really good. Really messed up. Sigourney Weaver, Alien. Willem Dafoe, The Lighthouse. Jack Nicholson, The Shining. Carla. I never pronounce her. Carla from Gerald's Game.
Okay.
Jeff Goldblum, The Fly. Bruce Campbell, Evil Dead 2.
Oh, I
Kim.
forgot about Carla. That's another
Yeah.
one that never gets talked about.
Yeah, she just gets passed over a lot. Tim Robinson, Jacob's Ladder, John Goodman, Matinee, which is not a horror movie in the sense, but Al Pacino, Devil's Advocate, Gary Oldman, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Guy Pearce, Ravenous, Journey, Smollett, Ease Bayou, Tony Todd, Candyman, Morgan Freeman, Seven, Eha Sheena for Audition, Mark Duplass Creep, Michael Rooker for Henry Portrait of Serial Killer, Christopher Walken, the Dead Zone, Nicolas Cage, Mandy, Ken Foree, Dawn of the Dead, Robin McLeavy,
Ooh,
Loved
that's a good one.
Ones. Yeah.
I agree.
Klaus Kinski, Nosferatu, Emily Blunt, A Quiet Place, Max Schreck, Nosferatu, and Anthony Perkins, Psycho.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about doing Perkins as Psycho, but that for me that's too obvious because he's my favorite horror villain.
He's really good, and I think because he becomes so prevalent, it's easy to like overlook him. But he wasn't nominated, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna toss in honorable mentions
yeah,
at
that's
least.
kind of bullshit right there. I would have thought for sure
I thought
that.
he was for the longest time. I thought he'd gotten like a supporting actor nomination, but no.
Yeah, well, even though like I mean that movie did have its critics back in the day,
Mm,
I feel like Hitchcock is a respected enough director,
mm.
or he was in the industry.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think this was the first time. I think Psycho was the first time he was nominated for director.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
I think so.
Which is wild because it was like so late in his career for the most part. Like he had been making movies for like better part of 20 years at that point.
Right. So anyways, my number one, I gotta sing a little song for it. And if you know it, Eric, you can sing along with me.
Okay.
Show me the way to go home. I'm
I
tired. I wanna
want to
go to
go to
bed.
bed.
And
I
had a big
laid an hour ago and
all straight
thinking
to
about
my
that.
head. I'm not gonna do the whole thing.
All
I
right,
mean,
let's call it.
Robert Shaw from Jaws.
I didn't even
Complete,
think of Jaws. I didn't even. No, you're right.
yeah,
You're
completely
100% right.
unrecognizable in this movie.
And he's also playing a drunk, which is what he was in real life. But
Yeah, but
that's not hidden. But
he was a
he's
British
really
guy,
good now.
right? Like he had an accent, and I truly believe that he was his character.
Yeah. No, he's really good. He's really good. I don't know. I didn't even think about Robert Shaw,
No,
but
I didn't even recognize him in From What to His Love, which is my favorite
mhm,
Sean Connery Bond movie.
yeah,
Yep.
chameleon that Robert Shaw.
Yeah, I mean, I freaking, yeah, I freaking love Robert Shaw in this movie.
Great.
And I think, I mean, going back to the Willem Dafoe thing from my house, like, I mean, you can't tell me that he didn't get some sort of inspiration from Saul.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. But anyways, that's my list of four performances that should have been nominated for Oscars. Um, hope you liked it, and let's go to the Oscar predictions for the 2023 Oscars.
Okay.
So how we did it was we did it by a point system. So like, so no matter what category it was, so like the bigger one will get more points. So like Best Picture 25, and then sound is like 5 points. And then so whoever wins, whoever gets
Not that sound means less than Best Picture, but just in the grand scheme of things, you can't rank everything the same. So
yeah. I didn't realize there's only one sound category this year.
yeah, they changed it up. I think
I'm
maybe
fine with it.
year ago or 2 years ago, it was sound editing and then sound mixing, which often got confusing because
Yeah, yeah, I'm fine. So how we're gonna do it is whoever gets the most points is the winner, obviously, and the winner has to buy a loser one of the nominated movies.
uh but we have to pick. I get to pick. I get to pick what movie I buy you, and you get to
Yeah,
pick what movie you buy me. Okay.
yeah. And so whoever wins get to do that.
Sure.
Yeah, so let's start with the lower ones. What is your number 5? I mean, what is your pick for best sound for 5 points?
Best sound, let me find it real quick. Best sounds, I have All Quiet on the Western Front.
Ooh, I got Top Gun.
Oh, see, that's my second pick. General rule of thumb, a lot of the times sound goes to at least one of them goes to like a war movie, which
Yeah.
would be Top Gun or All Quiet. So I had a real conundrum.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Top Gun because that's a theater movie, and the sound probably plays better. Um,
Probably so, maybe.
so number 5 pointer, best editing, film editing.
I have Everything Everywhere All at
Yeah,
Once.
me too. Just because I can imagine taking those different multiverses and cutting back and forth between them that
Their
quickly.
fight at the end is kind of mind blowing.
Dude, imagine like doing that on film, like back like we literally have to cut that.
No, I
Yeah,
can't.
that's like the Psycho Sour scene times a billion.
Oh yeah, like times 100.
Yeah. Best costume design under 5 pointer.
Costume design. I have Elvis.
I got everything everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of again for the same reason. Different multiverses. Um, now that I think about it, I probably would have gone with Elvis because that's a little more iconic. But
Sure.
yeah,
And it's like recreating history versus like building out of nothing. I don't know. I went with my gut on that one. I didn't really have any like strong implications.
yeah,
It was either between that or Babylon for
yeah.
me. I
Well,
don't know.
what's is funny because the daughter and everything everywhere actually dresses up as Elvis when she has
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So she does win. I mean, Elvis, I guess, technically does win somewhere or another.
Well, I mean, everything everywhere actually wins that category, but
Right.
best production design.
I have Babylon down, which
Ooh,
is a movie I haven't seen, and I just kind of went with I just kind of went with my gut on it and just
right.
thinking like recreating old Hollywood. That's all I had in mind when I picked it.
Yep. I'm on with All Quiet again.
Oh, okay.
For the first time. Just because I just feel like um from what I saw from the different clips or whatever, they really did a good job of like recreating that sequence
Sure,
or that war. I mean,
sure,
I
sure.
guess you could say that with any war movie, but especially like this, like
I will say, before we get too much further, I have not seen all the Best Picture nominees.
yeah.
I've only seen 8 of them. I still haven't seen All Quiet or Women Talking, but
Mhm. For another 5 points, best hair and makeup.
oh, I went with the whale for that one.
Oh, yeah, that was one I was really going back and forth with.
I went back and forth on it a lot
Yeah, I
too.
think I mean, the makeup on the whale is amazing, but I still think you can see that it's Brendan Fraser. I think the real astonishing factor and the real chameleon kind of factor is his performance in that movie.
Yeah, sure.
So I actually went with the Batman.
Oh, okay.
You can't even recognize that's Colin Farrell as the
That's
Penguin.
true. That's true.
Yeah, and then plus I just want the Batman to win something. I was kind of bummed out that it didn't get nominated for the production design and Fablemans did. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, I thought the production design in Batman was much better than the production design in Avatar. Personally, I
yeah, like
don't
that's
know why
true.
Avatar was nominated. I mean, Avatar is fine, but like most of it's computer generated, so I'm kind of
Mm.
like, I don't know.
So for 15 points, cinematography.
Cinematography, I have All Quiet on the Western Front.
Ooh, that's not a bad one. I'm gonna go with Tar.
Oh, okay.
Now, if Fancies of Interstellar was in this category, which this was like asinine category with some of the nominations, I would have gone with that, but I went with Tar.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And like in honesty, I'm really surprised that Top Gun Maverick wasn't nominated.
yeah, that's another kind of bummer.
But I'm also excited that if Elvis wins, it's the first lady cinematographer to ever win.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason why I would want Elvis to win. I keep forgetting about that.
Right.
Um,
But I also think
Personally, I
that,
think the thing that stands out in Elvis was the production design, not necessarily the cinematography and
that's
the
fair.
editing.
That's fair. I think the editing is better in Elvis than the cinematography,
Yeah.
but
Um, Best original song.
where's that? Where's that? Original song. I have Not Too Not.
For real quick, 10 points.
Okay. I have Not Too Not To. RRR.
Or I haven't heard that one yet. I need to.
Oh man, you should stop everything you're doing right now. It's only 11:30 at night, but you should stop everything you're doing and watch RRR.
Well, I'm not gonna do that. I'll probably watch it tomorrow.
It's only 3 hours long, and it's worth it. It's really good. I'm
Um,
really upset it wasn't nominated for international film.
yeah, that was kind of bizarre. I put "Lift Me Up" from Black Panther. Wakanda Forever.
Oh, that was my second, and then my third was Top Gun.
Okay. For another 10 points, best original score.
Oh, I have Babylon down.
Ooh, a lot of Babylon love from you, man.
And I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But I know that it won the Golden Globe, and I think it won some other award. And so I was just going off precursor things.
Mm,
I don't know if it'll win. Kind of prefer maybe if like All Quiet wins, but we'll
I don't
see.
think it will.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go with the Fancies of Inisherin.
Really? I
Which
thought
I
you
did,
would pick the Fableman of all things.
yeah. Well, the Daily guys know I'm going based off what I think is most likely gonna win, not necessarily what I liked more or what I want to win. I would have gone Fableman if that was the case, because
Sure.
I thought, from what John Williams did, as far as like creating like the mother and son theme, and then some of the other themes, like the new house kind of music. I thought that was real kind of ominous to like what was going on at that moment. And I loved how he incorporated like classical music and then like rock music and like kind of jazz music of the day in there. Um, I ultimately went with Banshees because I really liked how it made you kind of feel part of that world, of that island.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you dropped the Banshees in there because I was afraid that it wouldn't win anything.
Yeah, I
So
think
I'm
I think
I'm
it will.
hoping it's gonna pull. I'm hoping it's gonna pull at least one. I really love Banshees.
Best visual effects, 10 points. That's gonna be easy. Is
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Avatar. Yeah, that's
Avatar.
what I put too. Yeah.
Best animated film, another easy one for 20 points.
Oh yeah, Pinocchio.
Yep, Pinocchio. Best screenplay for 50,
Original or adapted?
original 50.
Uh, I put down Banshees,
Me
even
too.
though in my gut I think it may be Everything Everywhere.
I don't think so. I
I
think
don't know. You're right.
honestly,
You're right.
now that I think about it, I think original score might go to Williams just because it um
Oh, it's his
Fableman is
last
going to
one.
be one of his last ones. I mean, but they could nominate him for Indiana Jones too, so you might
That's
win
true.
for that.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, they could just flat up give him a lifetime achievement award at that point.
Pretty sure they've already given him one of those.
Yeah, I don't know. That's beside the point. But I just feel like if anything, if if that movie's gonna win anything, it's gonna be screenplay because it's really
That's why I picked it there because I think
yeah,
it's
it's
either
really
that
smart.
it's either that or like supporting actress
Mm.
that it may take. Um,
Yeah, and though it's a weird movie, it's pretty relatable. I can relate to that
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Kind of feel like you're stuck where you are.
sure. And it seems like a movie that I mean, I guess sometimes in these categories, like they like to sort of like a legacy like win for like stuff that you've done in the past that was probably better.
Mm.
So for Martin McDonagh, he's been nominated like I think 3 times now for original screenplay, and he hasn't won any of them.
Well, I've
Uh,
never seen any other Madonna movies, but I think he that prior knowledge, I think he would deserve it for Banshees.
But also, same time, Todd Fields for Tar has been nominated at least 3 times, like twice before as well.
Did
So
he do Little Children with Kate Winslet?
Little Children, and he did In the Bedroom, and
Never.
that's the only things he's done. Like this is his third movie, which is
Yeah.
wild.
For number 15, we got Best Adapted Screenplay.
I put Women Talking for this one.
Oh, really?
I think this is what it's gonna pull, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It won the WGA award. It won. I
Mm.
think it won the. I could be wrong about that. I say that now, and I felt like I said that with such confidence. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it pulled the Writers Guild award.
Hmm. I'm gonna go All Quiet.
Oh, okay. See, that was my second. That was my second
Hmm.
choice.
Haven't
And I
seen
went
it.
back and forth for a long while.
Yeah, I haven't seen either film, but it just I don't know. That was just one. That was like a whatever one for me.
It did win. It did win. It won Writers Guild of America award. It did
Okay.
win. I looked it up. It's fine.
Best Supporting for 15 points. Who do you go at?
Actor, actress,
Oh, Best Actor.
actor supporting. I put Ki Hoon Kwan. Everything Everywhere All at Once. And honestly, like all the actors, I think are very deserving in this. Judd Hirsch is the best part of Fableman, in my opinion. And both Brendan Gleeson and Barry Keoghan are great in Banshees. And I love Brian Tyree Henry in everything, but I haven't seen Causeway, so I assume he's
Okay.
in Banshees as well. But
Yeah,
I think it's Keys. I think it's
I was
his.
going back and forth between him and Gleason, but I
Mm,
just feel like a lot like Brandon Fraser. I think it's a setup for him to like
mm.
the Oscars love a good comeback story, man.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
He came back from like haven't acted in like 20 years.
yeah, and he's such a funny. He's just such a funny character.
Oh, he's great. He's the emotional, he's the heart of the whole movie. Like without him, the
Mm.
whole movie doesn't work. It's great. He's great in it.
All right, just one I'm really curious about where you're gonna go with this. Best actor.
Best actor, lead, Austin Butler, Elvis.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going Brendan Fraser for the same reason as Kiwi Kwan. It's
I
tough.
am yeah, and I don't know. I don't know. I may have picked the wrong one.
I think
But Oscars will either one want to pick a comeback story like you're talking about, or they usually honor people who mimic very well, like
mm,
someone who mimics someone else who's real, like Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody,
mm,
or Philip Seymour Hoffman for Capote. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
So I don't know. I mean, that's what I went with, but I don't know if it's right.
yeah. I'm really hoping it's Fraser just
I mean, I
because
hope it's probably Fraser too.
yeah, because I grew up with them with the Mummy movies.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I freaking love those movies, and I want the
Although,
Mummy returns like recently. And I
yeah.
was thinking to myself the whole time, like, oh my god, this guy was in the Whale, and now I'm watching in the Mummy. Like he's playing like an actor, like completely night and day.
To me, who I hope wins, though, in honesty, is Colin Farrell.
He
Really
was
love him in it.
good. He wasn't as good as Brendan Gleeson in that movie. I think he gave the more memorable performance, in my opinion.
I think they're both really good, and I think they both deserve the
Him and
nominations.
Barry Keegan.
Barry Keegan's really good too. I'm surprised it took so long for him to finally get nominated.
Mm.
He's really good
Oh,
in
Barry Keoghan.
Barry
I don't
Keoghan.
fucking know. I pronounce
Keoghan.
same names.
Barry, we'll say Barry. Barry was very good in Banshees, but he's been good for a very long time in a lot of other movies. Most notably in like Killing of a Sacred Deer. He's
Yeah.
really good.
Another interesting one. Best supporting actress.
Man, I went back and forth on this one for a long while. And ultimately, I ended up on Angela Bassett for Black Panther.
Yeah, me too. Um,
Um, but
that's
I
why.
think
Oh, sorry.
Carrie Condon, sorry, I think Carrie Condon may sneak a win in,
Mm,
but I really hope Jamie Lee Curtis or Stephanie Stephanie. Oh, I'm butchering that.
I know you're
Stephanie
talking about.
Stephanie from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah,
I really hope they sneak a win in.
I
And
was.
I haven't seen those, I don't know. But I know that Hong Chao from The Whale, she was in The Menu. She played like the maitre d' in The Menu, and she was really good in that. So
Yeah, I really want Hong Chow to win.
mm.
Because I think he had a lot more to do. Than who I actually ended up picking, which is Angela Bassett.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I just feel like the Academy always likes to award, not necessarily performance, but overall career.
It's true too. But sometimes in especially in like supporting roles, they'll like pick like a young ingenue, someone who's still
Mm.
coming, which would be Stephanie from Everything Everywhere.
Or the whale actress.
Yeah, or if you're talking about like honoring career work, could be Jamie Lee Curtis.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think to me, Angela Bassett gave the to me a more memorable performance.
Haven't seen Black Panther yet, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think, and I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but I think as far as performance goes, I think Jamie Lee is like a little bit lower on the totem pole as far as like
Oh
she's
sure.
in the movie, but like you don't really remember her compared to like Kiwi Kwan and Miss Yao.
Oh yeah, I mean even compared to like Stephanie Xiao, she's the emotional arc of the movie. Like Jamie Lee Curtis is almost a joke for for most of the movie. She's a great joke. She's a great like running gag, but like um I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm glad she's nominated. I'm glad she finally got nominated, but I don't know if she deserves it though.
Yeah,
For this movie. For this movie at least. I don't know.
yeah. I honestly would have knocked her off and put in like Michelle Williams for Fablemans because really it's Sammy's movie at the end of the day.
I guess so. Yeah. But I think that's what the studio like ran her as was a supporting actress versus like a lead.
Mm,
But and they ended up nominating her in lead. I don't know. I mean, she is kind of like the heart of the movie for most of it. She's what instigates all of the drama that
mm,
comes along with it. So I could see why you would nominate her as the lead.
yeah. So best actress, which is going to be a real interesting one. Who do you went with? Go with.
I went with Kate Blanchett for Tar.
Honestly, I don't think she's going to win it. I think her comment at the Quarter World's for her chances.
I mean, you're probably right. I mean, I think it's probably Michelle Yeoh. And
Yeah.
honestly, I say that as like I think it's Michelle Yeoh. I hope it's Michelle Yeoh.
Mhm.
Kate Blanchett's won 2 Oscars. You've been nominated multiple times. Man, I hope it's Michelle Yeoh. But I think it may be Kate Blanchett because I think that may be the only way they like honor Tar. You know what I mean? Because I think the only thing going against Michelle Yeoh is that Everything Everywhere All at Once was nominated for 11 awards. You know what I mean?
I disagree. I think they're going to honor Tar through cinematography.
Honestly, I don't think they'll give it to Sin. I don't think they will for that. I think they're going to give that to All Quiet. But that's why I picked her for actress. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Like I said, this is a pretty exciting Oscars for sure. I went with Michelle Yeoh,
Yeah, I
because
think you're probably right.
yeah,
I
she
think
goes between the different kind of things. But you gotta remember, Irishman got nominated for a bunch of stuff and didn't win shit.
didn't win a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, some of these movies may not win anything.
Mm,
Looking at you, Banshees, you may
yeah.
not win nothing. Also, Triangle Sadness probably won't win anything.
Yeah. Yeah. That's more likely not to win anything. Um. So getting to the end here for another 20 points, we got Best Director.
I think it's the Daniels. I think it's Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinberg. I think in this category, typically, even if they split the top two awards, director and picture, they usually give the directing one to the one who they feel did the most. And I think that of any of them probably goes to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Even if you think that it's a little too weird or a little too familiar in some ways. I mean, if you strip away all the weirdness, it's basically just like a mom trying to understand her daughter and coming to terms with the fact that her parents didn't understand her.
Right.
Um, so if you strip away all that stuff, it's pretty straightforward. But like with everything added on to it, like this seems like their award to win. Even if they lose Best Picture, I think they got this one in the bag.
Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Daniels. I would have gone with Spielberg, but since he didn't get the DGA,
Yeah.
this is kind of sad because I really wanted him to see him win for a movie.
Got two. He's got
Got
two.
his last.
He's got two Oscars already.
Yeah, but it's not like he's winning every other freaking Oscar that he's
Yeah,
nominated for.
he's
So
been nominated for the past like 20 years though, like every other year almost. So,
yeah, but I mean, I'm okay with either one of them. But Best Picture for 25 points.
I think this one's probably a lock too. Although there may be a sneaker in there, like it may sneak in. Something out of the box might sneak in here
Mm,
depending on how some of the other categories shake up. So like if Parasite hadn't won a few years ago, I would say that All Quiet's probably better
right,
in the international and all that stuff. But All Quiet or Banshees, if Banshees gets picked like screenplay and supporting actress, then it could pull out like a Best Picture.
right.
Same with Elvis. Elvis could take it. Elvis could take Best Picture here if it pulls like actor and like a
Mm,
couple other like. But really, I think it's probably Everything Everywhere, all of
yeah,
them.
it's just so unique.
Yeah.
It's just too unique of a movie, and like I've been telling you, man, you look at the track record the last few years. It's always goes. The last few years it went to the more unconventional movie. So
Well, I
Paris,
mean, well,
uh,
last year though, it went to Coda, which was a pretty straightforward sort of like family drama type movie, which
yeah,
is
but it could have gone to
also
King Richard.
could have, but it didn't.
Yeah, but this is about a family, a deaf family specifically.
Right.
You don't see too many of those in a while. As
I
far
guess
as
so, but it's still just a family drama, which in honesty is what Everything Everywhere is at its heart. That it is just a family drama, just brushed up with a bunch of other weirdness around it. You know what I mean? Like it ticks the box of like, yep, we hit our feel good movie, but then also we get to celebrate some new voice in the world. And so
right.
I think that's probably why they'll go with it.
Yeah, but honestly, if this was more based off of what I wanted to
Sure.
win,
That was what I was gonna
the
ask you. It's like, what do
competition,
you want to win Best Picture?
honestly, it would have been Fablemans pretty much all across the board as far as want.
Okay.
Like best picture, director, actress, um, maybe not screenplay, original
Yeah.
screenplay, because Banshee was pretty unique.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but pretty much like Fablemans all across the board. If it was more not what I personally wanted,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you for watching this video. I know it was real eventful sarcasm because we're real tired right now.
I feel great.
Yep. But anyways, if you like this video, make sure you thumbs it up. Make sure you follow me. Make sure you hit that like button, which I already said that. Make sure you share this video, and if you like this video and you want to check out more videos like this, subscribe. It's the links to whatever video I'm gonna link to. I don't know what I'm talking about right now, and you guys have a good one. Bye.